In the past, a single salary could buy a home, raise a family, and still leave room to save. Today, even people earning six figures feel like they're barely getting by. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because the system has changed. In this video, we'll explore why most salaries can't build wealth anymore, what's different today, and what really matters for long-term financial security. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your paycheck isn't enough, how costs have outpaced income over time, and why working harder alone doesn't lead to wealth. Let's dive in. First, let's look at the gap between salaries and the cost of living. For decades, wages have struggled to keep up with rising expenses. Take housing, for example. The average home price today is nearly 5 times higher than it was 30 years ago, while the median salary hasn't even doubled. Rent has skyrocketed, and even essential expenses like groceries and healthcare continue to rise faster than paychecks. So even if your income goes up, the cost of everyday life is growing faster. That's why many people feel like they're running on a treadmill. They earn more, but somehow they never seem to get ahead. Next, let's talk about take-home pay. Your gross salary might look impressive on paper, but after taxes, health insurance, retirement contributions, and other deductions, the real money you can spend is often much lower. For example, someone earning $70,000 a year might see $20,000 or more taken out for taxes and deductions. That's almost a third of their income gone before they even pay rent, bills, or buy groceries. And when you factor in inflation, even raises often feel like they barely make a difference. Another hidden trap is lifestyle inflation. As income rises, spending often rises right along with it. A small raise might lead to a bigger apartment, a newer car, or more expensive gadgets. Suddenly, what felt like financial progress disappears as expenses catch up. This is why many people, even with high-paying jobs, feel like they're stuck. Your salary might grow, but so do your obligations. Without realizing it, your money is slipping through your fingers. Here's the critical point. A salary alone was never enough to build real wealth. Salaries stop when you stop working. They don't grow automatically, and they don't continue to pay you once you retire. Real wealth comes from assets, investments, businesses, or income streams that generate money without your constant effort. That doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard, but relying solely on a paycheck puts a ceiling on what you can achieve. So why did previous generations seem to do better with just a salary? For much of the 20th century, costs were lower, housing was affordable, pensions were common, and college debt was minimal. A single income could cover the basics and allow for savings. Today, the economic landscape has changed. Housing is expensive, education is costly, and many benefits that once existed are gone. This is why the old formula, work hard, save your paycheck, retire comfortably, no longer works for most people. To summarize, salaries alone no longer build wealth because costs have risen faster than wages. Taxes and deductions take a large bite out of income. Lifestyle inflation eats up raises, and paychecks stop once work ends. Understanding this is the first step toward taking control of your financial life. Remember, this isn't about blame, it's about understanding the system so you can make smarter choices. If you found this explanation helpful and want to learn more about money, wealth, and the economics that affect your life, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We break down finance in a simple, faceless, easy-to-understand way. Thanks for watching, and this is why so many people feel exhausted financially. They're not failing. They're responding to an environment where stability costs more every single year. The rules didn't change overnight, but they did change. Now, let's talk about what actually hits your bank account, because your salary on paper is not the money you live on. Once taxes are applied, income tax, Social Security, healthcare, insurance, and other deductions, your real take-home pay shrinks fast. Someone earning $70,000 a year might feel successful, but after deductions, they could be living on closer to $45,000 or $50,000. And that's before rent, food, transportation, or utilities. This creates a silent problem. People plan their lives around gross income but experience life through net income, and the gap between the two keeps growing. So even when you receive a raise, it often feels underwhelming. Not because the raise was small, but because inflation and deductions absorb most of it before you ever see it. There's another factor that quietly works against people: lifestyle inflation. When income increases, spending often increases automatically. A nicer apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, more convenience. None of these choices are irrational. In fact, they feel earned, but over time, they create a trap. Instead of using higher income to build financial safety, it gets locked into higher monthly obligations. And once that happens, it becomes very difficult to step back. This is why many high-earning professionals still feel stressed. They're not irresponsible. They're overcommitted. Their lifestyle expanded faster than their financial foundation. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A salary was never designed to build real wealth. A salary pays you for time. When time stops, the money stops. It doesn't scale automatically. It doesn't compound. And it doesn't continue without your effort. Wealth, on the other hand, comes from ownership, assets, systems, investments. These are things that generate value even when you're not actively working. This doesn't mean work is pointless. It means work is the foundation, not the finish line. So why did salaries work better in the past? Because the environment was different. Housing was affordable. Education was cheaper. Healthcare costs were manageable. And long-term job security was common. A single income didn't need to do as much as it does today. Now, salaries are expected to cover costs that used to be shared by society or employers. That shift changed everything. To be clear, this isn't about fear, and it isn't about blame. It's about understanding reality. Salaries alone don't fail because people fail. They fail because the system evolved. And once you understand that, you can start making decisions that actually move you forward. And over time, this creates pressure, not because people are reckless, but because higher income quietly becomes higher responsibility. The result is a strange feeling, earning more, but feeling no safer than before. Here's the core issue. A salary by itself was never designed to build wealth. A salary pays you for time. When you stop working, the income stops. It doesn't grow on its own. It doesn't compound. And it doesn't continue without your constant effort. Even a very high salary has a ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day, and once expenses rise to match income, progress slows to a crawl. Wealth works differently. Wealth comes from ownership, assets that generate value without requiring your presence every hour. Investments, businesses, systems. These are not shortcuts. These are structures. Work provides stability. Ownership provides freedom. So why did a single salary work better in the past? Because the economic environment was different. Housing was affordable, education was cheaper, healthcare costs were manageable, pensions were common, job security was stronger. A paycheck didn't have to do everything. Today, salaries are expected to cover costs that were once shared by employers or society. That shift changed the math completely. The old formula, work hard, save, retire comfortably, was built for a world that no longer exists. This isn't about fear. And it isn't about blame. Salaries don't fail because people fail. They fail because the system evolved faster than most advice did. Once you understand that, you stop feeling behind and start thinking strategically. Awareness is the first real step toward control. And this is why relying only on a paycheck feels so limiting. No matter how skilled you are, your income is still tied to your time. Miss a day of work and the money pauses. Stop working entirely and it ends. This creates a ceiling, not because people lack ambition, but because time itself is limited. Wealth doesn't depend on hours. It depends on leverage. Systems that continue to produce value whether you're actively involved or not. That distinction changes everything. This doesn't mean work is useless. It means work has limits. Salaries provide stability, but stability alone isn't wealth. Once you understand that difference, everything changes. This isn't about blame. It's about clarity. Subscribe if you want more financial clarity. Thanks for watching.